Are you ready?
3.
Woohoo! Ready?
And then they said, turn around, touch your toes. The first year the bond pits came into effect, their tips for the year went up 11%. He stands up on the stool that's in the water and pulls down his swim trunks. So his...
Welcome back to Changing 100.
Hello, welcome.
I'm so pumped to be back in action. I've missed this.
Me too.
All the what the fucks that I've built up.
I looked at the notes.
Oh my goodness, it's a lot.
But today, we have a guest.
Hi, Ashley.
This is Ashley, former Party Pit.
Yes.
How long were you Party Pit? When did you party? Let's start at the beginning.
Oh, okay. All right.
like,
I have worked all over town, 14 casinos. I don't know anyone that's worked 14 casinos. And I started Party Pit in 2012, and I worked Party Pit. God, I don't even know when I officially stopped. Maybe 2019, 7 years. Yeah, I'd say a solid 7 years.
As Party Pit?
As Party Pit.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's back it up even more. So what made you want to go into dealing, and then where did you break in?
Okay.
And how did you learn?
So first, it was my 21st birthday, and I'm out with my friends, and we're gonna go to the club later, right? You know, after 11 midnight, and instead, kind of waiting around, we go to a table, and my friend's teaching me how to gamble, and it was actually at a Party Pit. Back in the day when there were party pits all over town. You could not walk into a casino without there being pretty girls dealing. And I asked her how much she made. I was in college. I was 21, so it was probably my junior or senior year of college. And I asked her how much she made, and I went to a dealing school the next day.
Wow.
Yeah, I decided the next day. I was like, how much? Because I worked retail at the time.
Oh.
So
What was it, like a $10 an hour?
Yeah.
$9 an hour? I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
Easy choice.
Making
Yeah.
$80 a day.
It was.
That is so cool. So you went to dealing school, so that's how you learned.
So I walked into a dealing school here in town, and I had the money in hand, and I said, yeah, I'm ready. I want to learn. Here's the money. And she said, oh, honey, in this town, if you're a pretty girl, you don't pay for dealing school.
Oh.
And I said, oh, well, that sounds great, because I'm
Yeah.
21 in college. I have no money. I don't have this $2,000 I have in cash. I don't really have it. You know, I have it, but we're stretching. And so she said, no, do you just go to this agency and they'll pay for you to go to school, and they set you up with a job afterwards. And I was like, okay, what's the catch? And she's like, there's no catch. You just work for them for 6 months afterwards and you're good to go. And I was like, and they set me up with a job. I don't have to run around town and ask. And she's like, yeah. And that's how I did it.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Wow, go that lady.
Yeah,
Right?
she was
I'm
Yeah.
letting you know.
Who turns down $2,000 in
Yeah.
cash? She was like, no.
I love that.
Yeah.
Right?
So
she
you-
wasn't slimy, because there's a lot of people that would have been like, yes, $2,000.
Thank you.
Sent you to the agency that you wouldn't have to pay.
Exactly.
And pocketed the
That's so true. I didn't even think of that.
Oh, that's funny.
Right?
What a
Yeah.
hustle.
Yeah.
That's so funny. So where did you break in?
Are we allowed to say names of places?
For your break-in.
Yeah.
Fine,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we-
I broke in at the Golden Nugget.
Okay.
Oh, me
I got
too.
I got
That was
lucky.
my first Party Pit,
That's
yeah.
such a good break-in place. I auditioned it because when you work for the agency, they'll send you to not as nice places. My first audition was at Arizona Charlie's.
Yikes.
I don't even know what that is, but I can picture what it would look like in my head.
I
Like a Joker's
auditioned there,
Wild.
and then
Yeah.
they said, as I've finished up auditioning, the guy said, honey, you don't belong here. Walk back out. I think I was 21, and I would say the next youngest person in there was 72.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Sounds
about right.
I was like, okay, no. And so I got the job at Nugget.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Was it the same uniform, the little red petal skirt? It's the same one.
There was a red and a burgundy. back when I worked. There were 2.
Oh.
Like a bright, like lipstick red, and then like a more burgundy.
I feel like now they have the burgundy one.
I think that's what it's, yeah.
But yeah.
With the little corset, like zip up kind of top.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
yeah.
never been a fan of that uniform.
Classic uniform at
But
the
that
Nugget.
one must have been, so what year was that?
That was 2012.
Yeah, that uniform is way out of date.
And it's been there for
a long
beginning
time.
of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was there a
Yeah,
long
the
time
casino.
ago.
The casino's still pretty nice. I walked through it the other day. And I was
It
like,
is
I forgot.
nice.
It's kind of nice in here.
I still love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Steve Wynn. Kind of never goes out of style, right?
Never, right? He knows how to do it.
He knows
Did
Yeah.
Steve win on that?
He did.
He
That
did,
was
yeah.
his first out here. He has all the he's Bellagio. Obviously, the
Yeah,
way,
I
like
just learned
he,
about
he does
Bellagio. I didn't know that.
He is timeless. He just really doesn't.
Yeah.
Wait, say what you want, but the man knows what he's doing. He
Right,
just
when it
doesn't
comes
go out
to-
of style.
When it comes to
Yeah.
casinos, he knows what he's doing.
He really does.
As a
yeah.
person, maybe not.
Maybe not so much.
But business, yes.
Yeah, someone just told me about that with Bellagio, and that a bunch of Bellagio dealers that have been there for years only deal blackjack, and still to this day
Mhm.
only deal blackjack.
Only blackjack.
And I was like, how? And they're like, well, when Steve Wynn opened it, he wanted blackjack dealers to deal blackjack and dice dealers to deal dice. Like, he didn't want anybody else dealing one game.
He wanted you to have like a craft, like that was
Yeah.
your game, not just kind of like mediocre at 5 games, like amazing at one.
at one game.
I don't know what the
Okay.
right way is, but
right. I mean,
like
it makes
right.
sense because I had a string where I was on UTH, jumped to free bet, jumped to regular blackjack, back to UTH, and my brain was,
Fine.
yeah.
Yeah, I would love that string because I love UTH and free bet. Those are my 2 favorites.
But it was, my problem was the free bet and the regular table because free bet has the push 22 side bet and then the lammer side bet. And then on the regular blackjack table, they have the trifecta, the poker side bet, the bust bet, and then the progressive. So jumping
There's
from
so
one,
much.
to the other blackjack was kind of annoying.
yeah.
UTH to blackjack, no problem. But yeah, jumping from those 2 side bets, that was rough. But
It's a
anyways,
lot.
so I can get why he would want you just to be a blackjack dealer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That would make sense.
Less mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully.
I just couldn't imagine dealing blackjack every day for 20 years.
That part.
But that's
Oof.
me personally. Like,
Yeah.
I would just get so bored.
I would be so bored.
Yeah.
I'm on blackjack every day. I'm bored.
So what other party pits have you dealt in?
All. I mean, if you probably name it, and I've been there. I did Caesars when they had. I didn't work on the inside party pit, but I did, and I also did a lot of pools out here,
Mm.
Oh,
dealing
okay.
like bikini blackjack dealing.
They don't have that anymore, do
No,
they?
not
They do it a
really.
couple. They do it Red Rock
At
still.
Red Rock, they
Okay,
still
yeah.
have
Yep.
it. Those girls
Um,
make bank.
Yeah, they do because
Yeah.
they just split within their little pit.
Yeah.
Um,
And they walk with it the same day.
Oh, I didn't know
They
that.
break,
Yeah.
they just break up their chips and walk
I didn't
with
know
it.
that
Yeah.
one.
but I have worked. Okay, yeah. So Caesars bikini dealer, Palms bikini dealer, Palms inside party pit dealer. Yes.
Playboy or
Oh,
no
I would've
Playboy?
loved that.
No Playboy. I
Oh,
missed it.
dang.
I missed the boat on Playboy. I was like, it ended maybe a year or so before I started dealing.
Oh, okay.
That was like
So
the goal
sad.
when I was
Oh.
21. I was like, I'm going.
Same.
I'm getting the job.
That's what I wanted so bad, but no.
I would have loved to do that.
That would have been. I think that was the gig. Like that was the
Right.
job.
That
back
was
in
the
day.
party pit dealer.
That was
yeah,
the
that was
party
like
pit.
the
That was
epitome. Yeah.
it.
You know, our current manager used to run that pit.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
Be awesome.
So you went Nugget,
So few pools,
Caesars, Palms.
Palms, Planet, Hard Rock. Back when Rehab.
See,
Rehab.
that was
Yeah.
what I wanted to do because I loved rehab.
Mhm.
And I remember seeing the girls like in the swim up blackjack
Yep.
tables, and I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah.
I did
But
that
Rehab
inside and
closed.
outside. I did they had a pit inside called Hell's Bells. So it was
Cute.
kind of like a little rock and
Okay.
roll sort
Yeah.
of feel. And then in the summertime I did the bikini dealing outside, which I liked at Rehab.
I really hope they bring that back.
When they
Like-
do it, when they open at like the Mirage.
When they like redo the Mirage. I hope they
know.
bring something like rehab, party pit dealing back. I don't
Something. It goes
Somebody
with that
needs to
know.
vibe.
Like,
do it,
party
yeah.
pits are so rare
Somebody
now.
needs to do, and they need to do it right.
Yeah,
is what we
I
wanna
want the
see,
cute-
yeah.
The cute outfits, the pit in the middle, everything.
Mhm.
Like, yeah.
Yes. No, for sure. Yeah, that was a good one until the end, because it just got kind of
It got bad in the end.
It got bad in the end.
At
The
Hard
money
Rock?
went way down.
Oh.
Yeah, if you guys ever look up like Hard Rock rehab fights,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
fun. Yeah, we were like putting lids up on the tables and running. No, it was bad. Yeah, it got not good.
Okay, yeah, that's
Oh,
bad.
wow. Like, I remember rehab getting crazy because it'd be packed and drinks and just like,
Mhm.
it was super fun, but
It was fun.
I remember it being like wild things would happen.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was wild. Yeah, that was a lot. And I was getting a little older. Not ancient or anything, but I had been working in party pits for a little while at that point, and I was getting a little over it.
Yeah.
Best and longest I worked at a party pit at a certain spot was Cosmo. Okay,
Oh,
I
you
was
were a
gonna ask
Cosmo
if you
girl.
guys.
Okay.
I was a Bond
Cosmo.
girl at
Aw.
Cosmo. Yeah, for 3 years.
What were those outfits?
They were so cute. Honestly, that was the cutest one. So you wore but they were strict there. So you had to wear your hair in a sock bun. It couldn't be like a messy bun. It had to be like the donut bun.
A bun.
It had to
Of
be.
all
So
things.
even if
That's
you
really
had super short
interesting.
hair, you
Yeah.
had to get like the
Oh.
extensions or like the clip-in bun. We all had to have the same
funny.
hair.
Little tiny ponytail just plopping your bun on.
Yeah. You had to have red lipstick on and you had to reapply it. That was really at the beginning. They were super strict about it. They got a little less strict as it went on, but you had to have red lipstick on, and they really wanted you to have like kind of this seamless look where we all looked very similar. We had these satin rompers. They were black satin, kind of just this little one piece like shorts, which I loved because a lot of party pits, when you bend over, that's
Right.
the worst
It's all
part,
ass,
right?
yeah.
Nobody wants to deal roulette because you don't want to be scooping up chips in this tiny little short
Yeah.
skirt. But we had shorts, so that was nice. Like it was a little romper short outfit, and you got this cute little black sweater that like pinned right at the neck. So very like, we almost look like sexy librarians if we're
okay.
being
Feels
very
honest
posh.
here.
I
was
feels
like,
very like
Very. It was.
Yeah.
They didn't even call it a party pit. They called it the Bond pit, like James Bond. So we're
Aw.
supposed to look very.
like a Bond, like one of the
a
Bonds
Bond
women.
girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
in
We
his
had to
movies.
wear nude tights, but they were the like dancer tights. So think fishnets,
Yeah.
but nude.
Yeah.
So very, and then you had to wear black pumps,
Mm.
not wedges. They had to be like Mary Jane kind of like pump.
Okay.
And that's what we wore. And we
Mm.
worked so many hours. They had the craziest hours. So you would work, when they first opened, we were working doubles, which their shifts were 6 hours. So you'd work 12 hours and you worked 6 days, 7 days a week. 12-hour
Wow.
shifts.
Was
You
that
guys
because
were
it was
rich.
short?
Everyone was short because
Yeah.
they were definitely understaffed because they wanted that certain look.
Okay.
They wanted you to
Oh.
have
They're
dealing
very
experience.
specific.
They were
Okay.
extremely
See,
like
I feel like that's how
That's
it
the
should be.
standard.
Yeah.
Like I would honestly, like I've talked to a few girls that we work with, and I'm like, I would like work more hours with less complaining if there was
Hell
this
yeah.
high standard
Yes.
of girl, of dealing,
Absolutely.
of style, of look. Like I feel like I would, because you just naturally make a little bit more money that way.
Yep.
You have the cheerleading effect going on, so when everybody kind of is like the same
That's
vibe,
so true.
everybody seems heightened, you know. So
yeah, we need the standard. Yeah.
I know
The standard,
Definitely,
and
yeah.
it was a serious standard. You had to even keep your weight in a specific.
Okay, yeah.
You couldn't gain more than 3% of your weight. So it sounds like, if you're 120 pounds, that means you cannot gain over 5 pounds, and you got weighed in regularly. So if
What was
you
regularly?
when you went to pick up your paycheck, so every 2 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Whoa.
and
that's a lot.
it
Yeah, that's a
wasn't.
lot. Yeah.
If they could tell that you looked fine, it wasn't like super necessary, but if you were gaining weight, it was a problem. And we all knew, though. Some girls really complained about that, but we knew what we were walking into. We signed contracts saying that this, it's like any other kind of modeling sort of
Right.
thing. We got these amazing jobs. At that time, Cosmo dealers were making 6 figures, and I was 22.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can't just walk into a 6-figure job at 22 without having some sort of stipulations. And like you said, standards. Those standards, you just didn't have sloppy girls.
Right. It makes a difference.
I
It
found
makes
it
a big
does.
difference.
It really does.
Mhm.
So what were you making? Like, at that party pit, did you pool with the black and whites, or were you?
They
Okay.
voted on it. They
Oh.
voted for us too. And as much as the regular dealers complained, they voted it. And then they said that overall, the first year the bond pits came into effect, their tips for the year went up 11%.
Oh.
So, and
See, This is what I'm talking about. They want the girls, but then they treat us badly. And nobody
Right.
appreciates
See,
us.
that's right.
I'm surprised that the black and whites would be upset about that if they voted to take your money. Like,
Because they know that the girls make money.
right,
Yep.
but if they get a part of the money, why are they upset?
Then they shouldn't be upset.
Yeah.
Then they shouldn't complain.
Because it's, it's the same thing. Like, oh, I worked so hard to get this job and in the
Right, and
business
here's
20
these,
years.
Yeah,
and
here are
here's
these little girls coming in.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But it's to your benefit.
absolutely.
If it was me, I'd be like, bring them
Absolutely.
in,
Yes.
right?
Oh,
When I'm older and I'm a dealer and they want to do party pit, I'd be like, I'm voting for the party pit. Bring the girls in
Right.
here.
have them make us some money.
Right.
Yes. Because at Cosmo, how I actually got the job in the very, very first place is I got hired for marquee dealing.
okay.
So that's the club at Cosmo.
We used to work with a girl who dealt at Marquee, and she said
Okay.
that it was so fun.
Yes.
It was just phenomenal, and it just was great money because you guys just pooled with each other, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it was
Oh, I didn't know
different. It
that.
was a different pool.
It's a total. And then I would assume, because everyone kind of knew that the girls made money at Marquee, that's why the dealers, the black and white dealers at Cosmo, wanted the bond dealers' money. They wanted them part of the pool
Yeah.
because.
Oh, so Marquee happened first, and then they put in the bond dealers. But they already heard about the Marquee girl, so they said, no, we're not going to let this happen.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Got it. That's
Yeah.
probably why they were upset.
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't get to work at Marquee that much because, first of all, I really didn't want to work in a bikini, to be honest with you. It's hot, and I was just kind of over it. But once they found out I dealt roulette, because a lot of the girls just didn't. It's hard to find a girl that fits all those standards and is like a multi-game dealer.
Yeah.
So when they found out I dealt roulette, they brought me in immediately, and then it was a more set schedule. When you were at Marquee, you're only there when the club's open, which is like 3 days a week. If it rained or was windy, you're not going to deal.
Yeah.
Where bond dealing, I was inside. I was working at minimum 5 days a week. I had 40 hours scheduled. It was
A little
more
easier,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was definitely a more like set job.
Okay. So when did you transfer out of party pits into regular dealing?
Oh, good question.
Was it a hard choice?
No.
No?
No, not for me. I think any place you go that there's a bunch of girls, there's going to be drama,
Oh, for
yeah.
sure.
right? Especially cute young girls.
Mm-hmm.
So I've heard of this like with cocktailing or anywhere else. And I think a lot of party pits are cool because you've got that, like, girls are in and out. You probably, if you work a party pit for 3 years, there's going to be a very small amount of girls that work with you that whole 3 years.
Yeah.
You're going to have
That's a
girls
really
that
good
are
point.
in and out, and so you don't really get sick of each other. No one was leaving Cosmo. We were 5 days a week, same girls, the same set.
interesting.
We were making crazy money, and it got super catty towards the end.
Whoa. Okay.
They were like cutting hours due to, they didn't do it based on seniority there. They did it based on, they kind of gave you like a rating. So you could be brand new, but if you had a great personality, they liked you, you came in on time and you dealt all the games, they might say you get, like an A rating.
Yeah.
And I could get a D rating, and now I've been there 3 years, and now I'm getting 1 shift and you're getting 5.
Oh.
No one wants to admit.
Yeah.
If all of a sudden you come in and you're getting more days than me, what am I going to say? Oh, it's clearly because she's better than me?
Right. No.
No. I'm going to say you're sleeping with the manager.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
I'm going to say, like, this hooker comes in.
Yeah.
So people were it was so over the top. girls were getting because we were buying homes based on this money.
Right. And
I
then all of
mean,
a sudden you're not working.
yeah, these girls got their hours cut to the bare bones, and some of us got to stay at full time. So I was so ready to just be done and get out of that environment.
Yeah.
So it was like 2017 I transitioned. I was getting married. I just was kind of ready to settle down in more ways than one. Like I just wanted no drama at work anymore.
Yeah.
So I think it's happened off camera when we did a quick break, but we were talking about auditions. We kind of covered it when we were talking about standards.
Yes.
And then I think this was off camera. I'm so sorry. I was talking about at some of the properties, we would have to line up. They would tell us what to wear. We'd have to wear like they would say push-up bra, a tank top or something that showed off, your your top half, and it would say shorts and heels. Was that the same when you audition to these places?
I know that there's probably cocktail waitresses out there or, bottle girls that are like, oh, girl, that's nothing.
Right. This is Vegas.
Right.
Yeah.
That's nothing. But I also, because I did so many like bikini dealing properties, I was dealing out at the pool. I had one property where you had to be in a bikini. So bikini and heels. That was the audition. I don't even know what you would call it. To me, an audition is like showing your skills at a job.
Yeah.
I don't really know why I need to be in a bikini, but okay. So yeah, they had us line up. And this was back when party pits were so big. So I would say for a pool job, they would hire 20 to 30 girls. And when I would show up, there'd be 200 to 300 girls.
Holy
So
smokes.
they'd line you all up. You'd have to wait. And it's freezing cold in these casinos, right?
Yeah.
So you are just shivering for hours. And then they'd get maybe 5 or 10 of us into a room. It was usually like a conference room. And there'd be a panel. And one of them they said, okay, walk toward us. You get to the front. They ask you your name. That one, I believe they asked like what your favorite color was. And then they said, turn around, touch your toes. And then walk back away.
Touch your toes.
Wow.
Touch your
It's the touch your toes part for me.
Yeah.
Oh
Because
my God.
I've
fine
done,
up until
I've done interviews like I recently did a pool audition for cocktailing, and they had guys standing in the back of the room. So like you walked in, you faced the panel, but there was like guys just sitting like chilling in chairs, acting casual behind you, but they had clipboards.
Oh,
But like they were but they were acting casual. Like they were like sitting, like some of them were on their phone and they weren't like sitting together like in an actual panel. But I was like, you guys are looking at us from the behind. But it's the touch your toes, turn around, touch your toes.
Turn around and touch your toes. And I was like, I was 21, 22 for this one. I'm like, do I do it straight legged? Do I like
Do you bend a little?
drop it low?
Yeah.
Like I didn't know what to do. I would have tried it straight legged.
dropped it low.
That would have been so funny.
Drop into a squat.
That I definitely feel like that was just some man who clearly was a pervert and just was like, because when are you ever doing that?
And
Like
why
they don't
does
even
that
they
matter?
don't even ask strippers to do that.
right.
No, and it was a panel, maybe 5 men and a couple women. It wasn't like and they asked every girl to do it. It wasn't like it was just me or this was just the process. Walk to the front. Hi, I'm Ashley. My favorite color's blue. Here's my ass. And then what? It's weird.
The exploitation.
It's so weird. Yeah.
Wow.
Another one I had, it was a little more professional the whole way through. They ask your dealing experience and whatever, what games you deal, things that are actually relevant to the job. And then at the end, they said, well, we want to see how you look in the uniform. And mind you, at this time, I was like, I don't know, 105 pounds, 22.
Tiny.
They gave me it was a 2-piece. It was like a skirt and a top. And they gave it in a double XL. And they said, go try it on. So I tried it on, and then I come out in front of them, and I have to hold it. It's going to fall off. And they said, no, we have to see how it looks, so let your arms go. So thank God it had like a strap around the neck, and then I just spread my legs so that the skirt didn't drop. But I guess the guy that was doing
I
that,
mean,
actually, he
clearly
got
you
fired.
looked- clearly, you looked fine. You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
like-
Yeah.
But you're not going to tell what a double XL looks on me.
Yeah.
But the guy that did that ended up getting fired because it just kept falling on girls, and that was the idea. This town back in the day got away with some crazy
Oh, for
stuff.
sure.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Sure
Some-
did.
That's
Because
crazy.
this
I was
was
gonna say
pre-social, like, I mean, social media was there, but people weren't. It wasn't like
Yeah.
Instagram stories. I mean, this was 12 years ago.
I'm honestly
Yeah.
surprised they even had it in that size. And I know that sounds terrible, but I do know places like where they only carry up to a certain size. Like they only
Yes.
carry up to a medium or maybe a large for the bottom half. Like if you
Right.
have super long legs or something, you know,
Yeah.
like, and they don't carry those sizes because they don't want that look.
I'm
But
pretty
just
sure it
like,
was just only for that because I never saw an extra large girl that got that
yes,
job.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
That's bonkers. So at either of those two, did you actually deal or were they just looking at you?
Just looking. All pretty much, I would say 90% of my party pit auditions,
They just want to see you.
they just want to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a few, and I would say it would be more like the bigger places that you can think of on the strip. They actually want to see you deal.
Yeah.
They want
Yeah.
they want to know that you're
Yeah.
because they have higher end customers.
Yeah.
But if they don't care, they just
Yeah.
you're there for eye candy. And
I
it's
know
like,
that's how it was at Playboy because our manager who used to manage the Playboy party pit,
Yeah.
she told me one time that it was only high limit. So those girls trained and the
Mhm.
minimum they would take would be like $75-$100 a table. So they immediately like were trained into high limit
Yeah.
dealing.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. She showed me, she like scrolled back all the way in her Facebook one day and showed me the like outfit and stuff
Oh,
that
I know.
that they wore.
I
It was super
loved
cute.
that. Ugh, I wanted to. That would have been so cool.
I so would have done that if that was around or if that came back. I would definitely do that.
Oh yeah.
I wanted
Yeah,
to so
that's for
bad.
sure.
I know. Just missed it. Why couldn't I have been 21 in like 2008? Damn it.
So do you have any like personal records as far as like the most amount of money you've been tipped or like the
Oh,
most amount of money
yeah,
you've
good
made?
question.
Oh, that's a good one.
Like in the smallest amount of time.
Mm.
Because I have,
That's tough.
there was a guy I had, and he still to this day holds my personal record. He did commercial lighting.
Okay.
He was my first high roller I've ever played with, and I made $2,775 with him in 40 minutes. And that's my
Oh.
personal record for the most amount of money I've made in the shortest amount of time. I made 2,740 minutes.
That's
Not bad.
Yeah.
hard.
But this is in context where party pit, not high limit.
yes.
Like
so
$25
that's
yeah.
game. Like
Okay,
there
so
has to be context
let's
to it.
back
Yeah.
it on.
Okay, so
Context.
let's do party pit, and then you can do
Okay.
black and white. Let's break it down.
Party pit. One place I worked, a guy was betting, and it was party pit. He was betting $500 for himself and $500 for me every hand. So I
Nice.
made like 80,000 in maybe 2 hours.
God damn.
Wow.
Because you think about it, that's 1,000 a hand.
Yeah.
When you
Right,
hit it.
yeah.
So you're dealing it for sure, and doubles, splits, all that.
Yeah.
I made 80,000.
Nice.
Yeah, that was probably I would say that's my highest. And he was betting, that was the best part about him. He was betting insane. Like, he would hit on a hard 19.
I love people like that.
Yes,
Sometimes-
double
You know what?
on a hard 17.
So
I'm like,
the guy,
no!
the guy that holds my record, the person,
Yes.
my first ever high roller as a dealer. I was like
Yes.
3 months in. I was at this table. He was playing our table max, which is 5,000. But, he was doing the same thing. Like he always hit he always hit 17s
I
when
think
there
you
was like
told me
a
this,
low
yeah.
card or something.
Yeah.
And then he always doubled on a 12 against a 2. When he had a 12 and I had a 2, he
I kinda
always
like that.
He always doubled, and I liked it too
I
because
like
he
it.
actually did really well. Because he
Yeah.
was like, "Well, I'm gonna take the card anyway. I might as well make as much money as I can." And so now,
Oh, okay.
now
Okay.
when
Yeah.
now when I
was like,
go,
what?
Or more, I would more be like, oh, can I bet less somehow because I know it's such a risky move to
Yeah.
hit that. I could bust, but I love it when people you're
Like,
there to gamble.
sometimes
That's
it's
what
just
you're
fun.
there to do.
Yeah,
Yes.
but he was the only one at my table. Like nobody else was there.
yeah.
So, but now I double on 12s against a 2 because technically it's a hit anyway. So, like, what do you
Yes.
care next to me if I'm doubling or not? Because
Yeah.
I got to hit it anyway. You know?
Absolutely.
I think there's what is it, like the houseway, not houseway, what is it called, the card, the hit chart. I think there is a hit chart out there that does say to double on a 12. I don't know if it's for counters or what, but
it might be for counters.
Okay, it might be for counters.
Because I know, like, when you look at a basic hit chart, like, it's something like 1 up, 1 over is like for counters.
It might be
really?
that bad.
Yeah,
Depending
like,
on what the count is?
it's a grid. Yeah. So, like, when you look at your hand and you, like, match up and down, like, something with counters is it's, like, it's either 1 up and 1 over, or it's, like, 1 down and 1 over, because we have somebody who used to be a counter that works at our casino.
Okay.
And he was telling me that every time he goes in for, like, an interview, managers are always like, do you know your basic strategy? And he just looks at them and they're like, he's like, well, which one do you want to know? Because there's 2, like, there's the basic strategy and then there's basic strategy for counters.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Okay, so that was a good one for the party pit. So the 80,000
Yeah.
from the guy.
Yeah.
What about for black and white?
That one's tough. So the most I've seen, because I was a floor supervisor too. So the most I've seen in one night was, I don't even know the total, but just one hand was $180,000 that they tipped the dealers.
Wow.
They had $30,000 bet because they had special limits. So, and then they had some doubles and splits and they won. So it was 180 total out there, and they just pushed it all in and said,
I'm waiting
dealer
for that
tip.
day. I'm waiting for that day that happens.
It wasn't to me,
Right.
but I was the floor supervisor standing there like,
you're all, can I go change my uniform?
this is amazing.
That's crazy.
But me, I've had days for sure where I've been tipped a few $100,000. Yeah, where people will, they'll throw in some 25,000s and they've been betting thousands for me, up at the top. Yeah, for sure. Can't. That's the thing too. I feel like you get so jaded.
Your sense of money is.
I would. Yeah, when I first
wrong.
started, I remember someone would come and lose like $1,000, and I would get sick to my stomach,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
and
yeah,
I would think to myself, I'm never gonna get jaded. I'm always gonna think that that's a ton of money to lose, and I still do, but it's all relative. So if someone wins from you $3 million and they throw you $1,000 tip, $1,000 is still a lot of money. It just doesn't feel like enough,
Right?
Because
I just won $3 million.
$3 million, yeah. It's like when you think about it in percentage wise, it would be like if you go to a really nice restaurant and your bill's $1,000, even though $100 tip is a lot for a server, that's not the standard 15 or 20%.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying I expect to be tipped 15 or 20%. It's just such a small percentage. It feels weird.
Right, yeah.
So depending on what someone's betting or what I've been seeing in terms of money from them, I don't even remember how much I'm kind of putting in the tip box, because it's not really computing to me. It's just money, and we have to keep getting fills because they're grabbing money, and I just never even know, which sounds terrible.
It does. When you say it out loud, you're like, oh my God.
I've been tipped a couple $100,000 and maybe-ish. It sounds
just
horrible.
another
Oh, and I'm
day.
so grateful. And like, it means
We also
so
don't get to
much.
keep that. Like, you're sharing that too.
You get-
so it's different. Like,
Yeah, $200,000 at a house where there's 500 dealers. I mean, it's not that much.
Yeah. Like, what's that break down to? 500-600?
It would be
200.
400.
400?
400, 200,000 divided by 500. Yeah, so
Yeah.
$400, which is still, that doesn't mean that people shouldn't tip.
No,
Like, oh
right.
my God,
Yeah,
it matters so
Yeah.
much. It's so huge and we're so grateful. But yeah, I'd probably know it to the penny if I kept it.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
100%.
Because I've worked a lot of keep my own places too, where you keep your own tips, and I know every penny there. I know my highest day to the dollar, and I know my lowest day to the dollar.
Yeah.
So
Right. I started asking people, because, everyone's sense of money is different,
yes.
especially in Vegas when you're just constantly seeing it flow.
Oh, yes.
And like working downtown, like we get the people a lot that are like complaining. They're like, I spent $200 on this table. And I'm like, do you know how many times a night I touch $200?
Right, yeah.
How many times a night
So
I'm
true.
touching 200?
That is so
Like
true.
probably 200 times I'm touching $200 a night, So like
Yes.
you being upset because I have to spin the ball and keep the table moving, and you
Right.
didn't finish betting all your 200 ones.
Oh,
Like, so what I started asking people, because to me, I feel like this kind of more in my head makes more sense, is I started asking people, like, what's a lot of money to you?
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Because I have a really good friend who I call her my, like, she did life right. Like, she went to school. She's in a career that she went to school for. Like, like she works a 9 to 5.
grown-up. Wow,
She's
she
moving
sounds
up the
grown up.
ladder.
Wow.
She is a grown up. She's like my grown up friend who's doing life how you're supposed to do it, right? In quotations. But I asked her one day because I didn't realize how much money she made in comparison to me.
Okay.
And I was like, so what's a lot of money to you? And she's like, girl, like $100. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Wait a
Because
minute.
to me, like, I start to waver at like 500. Like, things hit 500 and I'm like,
You're like, oh, yeah. Let me
okay,
think about this. Yeah.
fine. Like,
But if you're in like a corporate job and you're making like 50,000 a
50,
year,
60,000. Yeah. A
Yeah,
year.
$100 is a lot.
Like 100. She was like
That's a lot,
100.
yeah.
She's like 150. I'm really thinking. And I was like, okay. But that to me,
That's
like,
so interesting.
more-
it's
yeah.
very
Question.
relative.
So now,
it's
like-
super relative.
Yeah, so when I see like high limit players or something, like I think I asked somebody at one point, like I had 2 guys at my table and they were plastic surgeons.
Oh.
And I was like, because I could tell they made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, like, what do you do for a living? They're like, oh, we're plastic surgeons. And I was like, okay, well, what's like a lot of money to you? Like, just because I feel like that was something. And they were like, yeah, like $2,500. I'm kind of like, And I'm like, dang, $2,500. Like,
That's when you think.
that's when they started to be like, okay, that's kind of expensive. I was like, so if your car broke down right now
Right.
and you had to get it fixed and you were going to pay to get it fixed regardless of what happened, like, but what would be the amount that you're like, that makes you be like, fuck, like, I don't want to pay that.
Right.
Like, you know,
Right.
because that's my thing. It's like my car breaks down. It's the biggest inconvenience in my life.
Right. No, yeah.
So I want to know, like, I'm still going to pay to fix it. But once it hits like 500, I'm like, fuck, I just paid $500 to fix my car. Anything under 500, it could be 475, 490. I'm like, dope, do it, send it.
Yeah.
Like, here's the card, run it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It is.
So
It's
it's like a question I started asking people.
I like that question. Yeah. It's money is so relative, and
It really is. Yeah.
and it's relative to, like, I think gamblers are the most interesting people because I understand that there's some people that do it for fun and there's some people that have like a problem. And we know the difference, right? We see the people every day. I don't think everyone understands that there are people that gamble every single day.
Yeah.
Every day. And it's funny to me. Maybe funny is the wrong word. It's interesting because it's not like alcohol or drugs where you have like a chemical, your body can actually go through like withdrawals without it. This is just, it's like saying you're addicted to shopping. I get it, but you're not, how addicted can you be? So it's super interesting to me because some people will give so much money towards this thing, and I'm like, all right. And that's not a lot of money to you? Yeah.
Right.
50 grand is not a lot of
50,
money to you to spend on something that's like, it's not a necessity. It's just so interesting to me. I'm like, what makes you do it? Like, what makes you
The psychology of gambling is interesting.
It's interesting.
Because I love gambling.
Yeah.
Like, but I have the worst luck. I have never went and gambled and walked away with money.
Okay.
Like, not even. I'm not even trying to profit. Like, I'm just trying to maybe not lose 500. Like, you know, like, because that's my, it's a lot of money. But like, so I'm like, but I love it. Like, it's so fun.
It's
and
fun. I think it's super fun.
And a bunch of the girls I work with, they're like making fun of these people yelling for their $15, $25 blackjacks. And I'm like, I can't even lie. I do the same thing. Like, I'd be at the table, like, doing my little shimmy dance.
It's
and I get
so
excited
fun.
because I have a good time.
Gambling is a blast, but I wonder when it becomes like an addiction. Same for us, right? Shopping is a blast. We all love shopping. I love shopping, but I would never go like $200,000 into debt for shopping. But people go in a split second, go $200,000 into debt for gambling.
We should do a science episode and really dive in and do some research on that.
Yeah.
And break it down, like,
I mean,
gambling and addicting.
It still taps into the addiction part of the brain.
It's in there.
But I wonder, well, like you're saying, like because alcohol, drugs, that's like it
It's
physically.
it's an
chemical
actual
change.
chemical
Yeah.
dependence on it where you need that to function.
To function, yeah.
But gambling to me is kind of goes more into the shopping addiction, but it's a more gray area
Right.
in
If you
between.
take it away, you're not going to have a physical
You'll be fine.
reaction. You're not
Yeah.
going to withdraw physically.
Physically.
Right.
Oh, that's a good
And
point.
shopping, we all love shopping. I was having this conversation last night with my boyfriend. I was like, I love shopping. When I leave, I have something to show for it and I love it. There are gamblers that
Yeah.
hate it the whole time. They're angry
Yeah.
the whole time. And I'm
Yeah.
like, so you're not getting like a drug dependency out of this. Like you need it to function. You're not getting joy out of it. What are you getting out of this that you're throwing like not hundreds of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars at this?
I just figured people had hella money.
No, there are people. Yes,
I'm just like, you probably just have a ton of money.
No,
like,
there
I
is
would love to be
gambling
on that level where I
responsibly.
could lose $26,000 in a night and not
even
blink an
worry.
and not
eye.
even
Yeah.
blink an eye. But how crazy would it be, even if you had that amount of money to spend it on? I mean,
Yeah.
See,
thank
she's
God.
a shopping addict.
Thank God they
Right.
do, because that's and thank you for funding my shopping addiction
Right.
with all the money that you're just blowing.
But
like
you're
it's
like,
job
with this
security.
$10,000, I could have bought this and this.
Yes,
Right. Oh,
exactly.
no.
And I'm like, you're
Anyti-
spending it on a
A
hand.
hand, yeah, just one
anytime
hand.
anytime I see that, I think in my head, like I just watched last week a girl take $26,000 from a guy in less than 10 minutes. And in my head, I was like watching it and I was like, you know what I could do with $26,000 right now?
Yes.
I could do a ton with $26,000 right now.
Yes.
Like, and he just was like, okay, and like got up and walked away.
yeah. We see millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Millions. People
Millions,
blowing
yeah.
through 8, 10, $15 million
Yeah.
lines of credit. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
That's
in
why
a
when-
day.
In
Yeah.
a day, yeah.
And that's why people, when they get upset and they're like, I'm spending $200, I'm paying $100 every spin. And I'm like, bro, like,
We're so
you,
jaded
you
though.
can't be
We-
like,
we are,
We're
yeah.
so
that's
jaded
true.
because I would be mad. That's to them. It's like flushing it down the toilet. I would be so mad if I lost $200 bills. Like I would be like, where is it? Oh my
Right.
gosh.
Yeah.
But because we're in this mindset, we're seeing thousands, hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars. We're like, oh, 200. But then
Oh
I
my
go and I
gosh,
spend
but
it
then
on
when
a
you're-
steak somewhere, and I'm like, well,
yeah.
that was a ripoff.
Yeah.
I'm never coming back
Yeah.
here again.
Yes, in work, it's such a different mode.
Yeah.
It's hard. Yeah, but I mean, because I used to work in a cage and then I worked at a few strip clubs, like, and I've just
Wow.
seen money flowing since I've been 21.
Wow. Yeah.
So, like, all I used to do is count money in a cage at a strip club. Like, you know how much money I've seen these girls make? The bartenders, the cocktail servers. I
Yeah.
counted drawers. I would cash girls out at the end of the night. Like, I would have people come in and throw me $10K and say,
right.
I want this. Like, so it's just hard for
Wow.
me to, like, I don't know. Like, I've never thought of it that way.
Me neither.
But
Now
maybe
sitting here,
because-
like, really
Yeah,
talking about
and
and
I'm
thinking
like,
of it,
dang,
I'm like,
27. Like, all I've done the last 6 years is touch and count money. Like, and
It
all of
starts
my
to-
jobs have
yeah.
been very number oriented since I've
Yeah.
been 21. So I just think, like, I don't know. I never thought of it
we're
because,
part of the problem.
but also maybe like
100%.
I've also,
I am the problem.
I've also never had somebody like really I could tell had an issue, like had a gambling addiction.
You never have?
No, well, I'm a baby though. I've only been dealing for 3 years.
yeah, she hasn't been dealing with
Okay.
it.
Yeah, but I've
Still,
never
yeah.
like even like at the strip club, like I've never experienced somebody who was like had an actual issue. So maybe that's why I'm just assuming in the world, and I'm just too nice of a human being and probably a little naive and young, and I'm just like everyone just has
Yeah.
this money to spend. It's like I don't know.
No, people for sure. They have like real addictions,
Yeah.
and people will come in and then we won't see them for a while, and it's because they owe on their credit line. They owe the casino $500,000, and I'm like, you didn't have that money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You
See,
didn't
that's my
have it.
thing though. But that was also how I was raised. Like I was raised very like you don't spend it unless you have it. Like Like I didn't
Girl,
get
teach a class. These
Yeah.
people
Right?
need to go to it.
like I'm trying to do something with my credit, and everyone's like, you need to use your credit card more, and I'm like, I hate using it.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you have to buy gas anyway. Just buy the gas and then pay it off. And I'm like, nope. There's something about
There's something weird.
There's
Okay,
something
yeah,
about
yeah.
it I don't like. But no, that is something. And the same thing when people get mad. Like I don't care how much money you're playing at the table. If you get mad when you lose, I 100% think you shouldn't be playing.
Me too.
Yeah.
I
It
think
doesn't matter if
you
you're
have a
playing
problem.
$5 hand or if you're playing $100,000 hand. Like if you're mad that you lose a hand and you're losing this money, you shouldn't be doing it.
Well, I completely agree.
Yeah.
If you're not enjoying it, it's a fun pastime. It's
It is,
not
yeah.
it's not a way to make money. You're not this is not set up in your favor. It's none of the above. This should be something really fun. You're paying for the entertainment. If you're not having fun, it's like going to a show. Get up and leave then, because you're literally paying for it. Yeah, like that's you're literally paying to be entertained. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
So I think any person that gets mad, they have a problem. That sets off alarm bells in my head. Yeah.
Ooh, okay, let's pivot. Let's talk into the crazy stories. I want to know the nastiest, the wildest, the craziest, whatever you want to tell us.
Should we?
But we're going to break.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Craziest, wildest.
Ooh, okay. So I would say my craziest would be when I was working at a pool, dealing at a pool, and it was a swim up pool or swim up table. So the players were sitting in the water playing at the table, and the stools were probably like 6 inches under the water, right? So their butts are in the water, and then my table's up a little bit higher. And this guy was a high roller, and he lost all his money, and he's getting consistently just drunker and drunker as the day goes on, because he's in the sun too, right?
Yeah, people don't anticipate.
No.
Excuse me. People don't anticipate how much drunker you get in Vegas pools.
You're just, because you're getting so dehydrated,
Yeah.
and it's just all alcohol, I swear, in your bloodstream by the time you leave. So he finishes his last hand, and he's in a good mood, but he's getting like pretty rowdy and obnoxious. And he stands up on the stool that's in the water and pulls down his swim trunks. So his penis is eye level with me. And by the way, he's been sitting in the pool for like 3 hours. So none of this
not
is
looking
good.
at you.
And I was
21,
22, and I'm just frozen in place staring at
I'd have
this
flicked it.
grown man. I'm like, just spoke it. But I don't even know. I like kind of blacked out.
Yeah. So
yeah.
what do you do?
I don't know what I did. I know I ended up leaving off the game. Like the floor came, told him to get down. He was really like good natured about the whole thing. Like, all right, you know. But I could not believe that I.
He said he's good natured. You are so sweet. He's like, oh, okay, all right, fine, I'll get down. Like, no, I'm gonna stand up here and swing my dick around. Like, no, it's fine, I'll get down and pull my pants up.
Yeah. Yep. So that happened.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So for swim up tables, like, do you have different cards for those?
That's weird.
No.
No, because everyone's wet.
Yep.
So
the money's
chips are
soaked.
wet. The money's soaked.
Everything. Yep. Because
Chips
people
are
just
wet.
come out with wads of cash that
Yeah.
they've been swimming around with. Yeah, their hands are wet. No, it's regular cards. Oh, obviously out there's no electronics. So everything's
Okay.
hand shuffle.
Okay.
If a card gets too wet or whatever, they have like cards to replace things. You know, you're not supposed to be like splashing or what. And honestly, I'm not wet. I'm the only one that should be touching the cards. So, you know.
But yeah, but I'm just thinking like the money, the chips are going to get wet.
Yep.
The table's going to be wet because they're going to put their arms on the table.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, but it is Vegas, so things dry in like 4 seconds in the sun.
Oh,
True.
I didn't
I
even
didn't
think about that.
You know,
That's true.
You can fry an
Dry
egg on
air
it.
Think
and
about it.
the heat. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I preferred being in the swim up tables because it's lower down towards the water, so
You kind of got it
it's cooler.
cooler.
Because I've worked out just in places where it's just on concrete, and I've passed out. It's so hot.
Yeah.
You know, it's 120 degrees outside, and you're out there for an hour. You just pass
There's
out.
no swamp cooler that's gonna keep you cool enough.
It's so because cocktail waitresses out there, they're walking kind of back and forth, in and out from the kitchen, the bars. Like you're just standing there. It's that was definitely my craziest story.
That's insane.
That's wild. That's a good one though.
A whole penis.
I have yet to have a penis exposed.
Shout out to him.
To me. Shout out to that man.
Have you ever had anybody go to the bathroom at your table?
Peed, yes.
Like while sitting down?
Oh, peed, and I had I had a guy who was playing roulette, and he crapped his pants, and we could all smell it, and we had no idea what was going on.
You could just smell it?
Yeah,
and
but we didn't know from where.
Around?
We were because sometimes, there's like a sewage leak or something. We're looking around, like what's going on. And then when he got up from the table, because it was a full-on accident, like it was all over the chair. And he did not care. He was like, bye guys, like walking away, and we were like,
how long did he sit like that?
a couple of hours.
Oh my goodness.
A couple of hours.
Just in his own shit.
Yep. I've had girls have their time of the month on chairs and then get annoyed when we ask them, like, miss, you need to go change or whatever, and they're like, no, I'm in the middle of gambling. I'm not going to get up right now. What do you expect? What do you want me to do? Like, well,
clean yourself.
maybe
I was like,
not.
well, it's a biohazard.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's actually dangerous.
Like, it's
Sorry.
actually a
cannot
problem.
have-
It's
Yeah.
actually an issue. Yeah.
Yep. I've been puked on.
I have yet to be puked on, and I don't want that to ever be
Excuse
part of
me.
my story.
I
I don't want that to be part of my storyline.
and violently.
would probably throw up too.
Violently. I was working at a club, dealing at the club, and a girl, like, I could see she kind of, got it in her mouth, and she was holding it, and I was like, oh god, and then she sneezed. So,
Oh my god.
and I was like,
I think
can I go home?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if
immediately.
I'd be able to mentally finish the night.
No.
No, I
honest.
was done.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was violent.
It probably would have made me like start throwing up a little bit too.
I was I have children, so my stomach is a little more made of steel than it would have been, but yeah, I was like,
yeah.
okay, thank you so much. And she didn't even apologize, because people get so drunk,
Yeah.
they don't even know what their name is, much less the word I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. Yuck.
The throwing up one I hear a lot, and it's not happened to me. I've seen it happen, right there in front of me, next to me, but never on my table. I do not want that to happen. I will vomit with them.
Horrific. That's the worst one by
It'll
far.
be like a back and forth.
Yeah, you
Just keep throwing up. That's so funny. The other day on roulette, I had this guy who had been following me for like 3 days, and he was super annoying. I couldn't stand him. He was like, where's the bathroom? And I was like, it's on the other side of the casino. So he had to walk all the way down. He left the table and came back. He's like, whoa, feeling better, in one spin. And I looked at my floor, and I was like, there's no way
he washed his hands.
There's no. There's
Not
no
even
way
that.
he even made it to the bathroom.
Right.
God.
And so she was like, he peed on a slot somewhere, huh? I was like, he 100% peed somewhere else in this casino, because there's no way he made it to the bathroom, went to the bathroom and came, hand washing or not, to even walk there and walk back. There's no way
Not
he
enough
made
time,
it
yeah.
in that amount of time.
Yeah, because there's those slots that you have to walk through.
Yeah.
So those slots.
Because where I was at in comparison to the closest bathroom was kind of far. And the fact that I literally did one spin and I had just finished paying it out when he was already back.
Some people,
And I was like, there's
want
no
to call
way.
their moms. I really do.
No,
I
for
just want to call
sure.
their moms and be like, do you know what you raised? Do you know how they are acting in
Yeah.
public out
I'm like,
here?
who's responsible for you? Because it's not you. Do you have a wife?
Clearly.
Yeah,
Do you have a wife or a girlfriend? Like, yeah.
Someone
Who's your owner?
needs to
Who
take
owns you?
responsibility for this person.
Yeah. God.
Okay, well,
Okay, any
are
last?
we done?
any
Or
last-
yeah, is
I
there anything
know.
else? Tell us.
Anything that you were like, I
No.
want to talk about this?
Yeah.
No, I think we covered it all.
Yeah, I feel like that was pretty solid.
Yes. I think the only thing I want to like hit home is, because we talked about so many different things, like I have seriously I've done this for 12 years. I love my job.
Hmm.
I love dealing. I mean, definitely there are days I wish I just didn't have to work in general and I would just stay in my jammies. But if I have to go to work, like I literally love my job. I have talked about like if I won $10 million, I would still probably deal a couple days a week.
Yeah.
That's how much I love it. I love meeting new people. I love that I get to play games for a living. Try explaining to your kids what you do for your job and you're going to be like, oh my God, I have the best job ever. Like I get to play games and make money.
Oh, yeah.
I love my job and I love meeting new people. And we talk about all like the weird experiences, but you meet the coolest people in this, players and coworkers.
Yeah.
You really
You meet
do,
people with, I don't know any other industry that you can work at where people have, you know, anywhere from a master's degree all the way to like barely graduated high school that you can work with.
Mm-hmm.
People that come from all over, some people that barely speak English to people that speak 10 languages. I think it's so interesting, like all the different backgrounds that we get to work with and meet. And if you're take advantage of this industry, I've met billionaires and with a B and celebrities all the way down to like homeless people that come in with their dollars and buy in on the game. I think you get such a cool, there's no other industry I can see that you get that kind of range and that perspective and you can meet such amazing people and it can keep you really grounded.
That's true, yeah.
So dealers are awesome.
I love that.
That's my industry. I love it.
So beautiful. Yeah.
It
Like
is nice to,
well-rounded. Step back and appreciate
Yeah.
your job.
I love it. I love it so much. I've never like, and because I obviously have my bachelor's degree, like, and I've worked other jobs. If you love people, like, this is the job. This is it. There's no better job.
Oh, I love that. Okay, well, thanks for taking your time.
Thanks
and
for
coming
having
out and
us.
talking to us.
Thanks for having
We'll have to we want to go out and gamble and hit different party pits and rank them and stuff. So you should come because since you have so much party pit industry
fun
experience,
She could be your tour guide.
I know that would be fun.
That would be
Because we know the party
fun.
pits, but not 12 years experience.
Right?
Not 14 casinos.
Yeah.
Casinos.
Come on, ladies. I will take you around.
Yeah, that would be so fun.
That would be really fun.
Okay, well, don't forget to tip your cocktail servers, tip your dealers, and please don't walk through the pits.
Don't walk through the pit.
Walk through the pit.
See y'all on the next one.
Yay.
Bye.